One of the things we're supposed to do, especially after changing any mains components, you know, mains leads and that sort of thing, is after the repair has been completed, you should pat test the equipment that's been repaired. Now, I had a pat tester some years ago and sold it a few years ago, so really wasn't doing you know, that type of repair work. But I'm taking on something on a more commercial basis where most of the repairs will be changing mains leads and mains lead sockets. So you know, I had to get a pat tester to comply with the rules and regulations. You can buy brand new pat testers obviously on eBay. £300–400 would get you a reasonable one, but really what I wanted was some sort of data logging facility, so the test results can be downloaded onto the PC and then you can print out certificates and that sort of thing if required. So having had a look around on eBay, I came across a seller. I'm going to put the links in the YouTube link, but I think his eBay name was something like Cheaper Than Asda, which I thought was quite amusing. And it turns out that he runs a calibration centre up north. Again, I'll put the links in to that. And this Seaward Europa Plus that you can see here was going for £290, which, as it's £1,000 machine, brand new, I thought was a pretty good deal. It also, because it's coming from the guy that runs the calibration centre, it came with a full 12 months calibration certificate, which of course there's no point in pat testing something if the test has not been calibrated. So that's good for another year. The calibration charges for this particular machine, and I suspect most pat testers, is £55 a year, and that includes collection and delivery. So you know, I think that's a pretty good deal. So again, I'll put the links up on the forum to the eBay sellers, eBay listings, and his main business. So yeah, a quick look at this. It comes, well, it doesn't come as standard in this rubber boot. This is an optional extra that's been fitted, and they're about 40 quid. So I was quite pleased to get it in with this holster. On the back, and I'm stuck right in the corner of the workshop, so it's awkward to show you this, but on the back here you have the main socket where you would plug the appliance in. This is the earth clamp cable. Now these are in 3-pin sort of DIN socket arrangements, and on an older machine like this they can wear. You can retension the socket though. They're split brass ferrules, and you could just retension those, but you can also just buy them from I think RS sell the actual sockets if you ever need to replace them. Just next to that and down at the bottom you have the mains connection. Up here, which you probably can't see very well, is the IEC socket. You then have a communication port to the laptop. That's just a standard serial connection, and then just above it you have a connection for a printer or barcode reader. I haven't got the barcode reader. It's in my case I'm not going to be retesting the equipment because it's just being returned by post to customers, and there is no retest requirement, so it's purely being done to assure everybody that the repair is safe, and that's that. What I really like about this, obviously you can download all of the test results to the computer, and I'll show you that in a second. It comes with free, I think they call it Seaward Pat Lite software. It's pretty basic, but it does allow you to print off a certificate and view the test results on your laptop. But what I really like about this is it is so user friendly. You have two modes of operation. One is expert mode, and one is what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it now. Let me just run a new test and I'll show you what I mean. So you would enter the appliance ID number, and that would normally be, you know, whatever the next number is on your, if that will focus, you know, on your pat testing labels. Of course, if you're using a barcode scanner, you would scan the next label and enter the details. So the appliance ID for me would be TM5. I'm not going to enter this. Let's see if it will skip without entering that. Yeah, it will. No, it won't. I'm going to have to make up something. So let's make up a appliance ID. Press yes on the touch keypad, then OK, and then you have the whole list of tests that it is able to perform. Hopefully this is in focus for you guys. It's a bit tricky. So you can just use the cursor keys to select whichever test that you want, and this will do you know, all sorts from 230 IT equipment, then down to mains leads, and also 110 volt equipment. So these are the automated tests, and you can do this manually, and you can alter the various test codes that are performed on a particular piece of equipment. So if you have something unusual coming in regularly, you can set up your own test code, and it will go through an automated procedure you know, that you have decided on yourself. So let's say we were doing class 1 equipment, so you would select that, and yeah, the first thing that comes up is visual inspection, cover case, power cord and plug. Now you can pass each one of these individually, or you can press overall pass. I'm not sure you can see it. Yeah, you can press overall pass, and that will fill pass into the whole lot, and then you would just select OK, and then on to the next session. Oh yeah, of course it's advanced or novice mode. This is in novice mode at the moment, so you actually get pages of descriptions of the test and how to connect and what it's doing and things like that. There we are. That's, you know, if you're testing a kettle, where to put the probe for the particular tests, and what it's actually trying to achieve, what to do if it's failed, etc., etc. So yeah, once you've read all of that, you can press the start key, and it will then start going through the procedure. This is flashing up, telling you to plug in the earth clamp, and obviously plug the equipment into the socket on the back. I haven't got anything connected, so I'm not going to bother running through. We're just going to press no or abort, and then just select abort test. But you can see how easy that is. I'm just going to exit help. Well, that's actually running the test, and we're going to cancel that. Abort appliance, in fact, it was the option I should have selected. So we'll just hit that, and you go back to the main menu. Obviously there's loads of different options. It will also list the accessories that you know, are available for this, and the part numbers. So it's quite useful. It comes with, just zoom out, obviously it comes with your 110 volt adapter. It will come with a user manual, which is you know, quite thick, quite comprehensive. You have actually, that has come from the calibration center. Seaward Resource CD, including Pat's Light, but the main Seaward disc was in there anyway. Small disc here is in case you haven't got a serial port on your laptop or computer. You can then just use one of these USB to serial port adapters, but you must obviously run install the driver software first. I have also bought this IEC to figure of 8 adapter, and this other IEC to cloverleaf adapter, so that will allow us to plug in virtually anything into the machine for testing. I'm actually using this now. I've advertised this on the TV repair websites that I've got, that I am now offering customers a free pat test with any of the repairs that they bring in. I thought that was quite a nice sort of value added option, just to try and get a few more customers in. And we'll also be doing the free test as part of the repair on the new equipment that's going to be coming in, hopefully with this new business venture. It's going to be mostly a postal service, so yeah, it would be nice to pat test everything, and it will go back with the correct labels on the plug. I had these labels made up on eBay again. Like everything really, I bought all of the bits and pieces for this on eBay, and I will put the links up to the guy who did these labels as well. This came in a genuine carry case. Yes, it's a bit worn in places. If I take the cover off, you can see it's had a good life, but a made in the UK Seaward piece of equipment has got years of life left in it. This membrane, the keypad membrane, had been changed according to the listing, so that's brand new. Obviously all the parts are available from the calibration centre that is the main business of the guy who sold this. I've already asked him about parts and bits and pieces, but if you go onto eBay, you'll find the things like the earth clamp, the holster, things like that, so shouldn't be any issues. And I'm sure, unlike most things these days, this is going to be repairable if it happens to go wrong. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. £290, £1,000 machine, pretty pleased with it. Works really well. You can, I'll just show you something else you can do. You can go back and view the test results on the machine, so if somebody comes in with one of your labels on the back, you can just enter the appliance ID number. So let's just pick one and press enter and start search. So I've got 2 entries for, okay, let's view those. So I can select either of those. That was a fail. I think I'd forgotten to connect something, and then I've obviously done it again, so another TM3, which is a pass, and then we can click on view comments. So you can see now it's TM3, the location is the workshop, my name on it, the test codes that have actually been run on it, the test date and time, and in my case what I'm doing now is I'm just adding down, hopefully you can see that, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. What I'm doing is entering the make, model, the fact that there was no cable included with it. I've put the serial number down, the work that's been done, in this case it was power supply overvolt protection modification and firmware upgrade, and the total charged, and that's a pretty useful record for me to have as well. So yeah, back to the main menu. If you want to download anything to the laptop, I'll just try and scroll around to that. It's not going to be quite so easy. Nah. Well, that's basically it. If you can see that, you run the program. It's very simple. You can download the database or open up an existing database. What I'm going to do is once a month I'm going to download what's inside the machine. So we'll label them January, February, March, April, whatever, and do it on a monthly basis. Once you open up, let's go to the service department there, and there's a list of the items that have been pat tested. You can click on any single one and the asset details pop up. You can see that. So that's the asset ID number, the description, and the last tested on date, and you can click on test results, and it will show you what tested, what the figures were, and obviously in my case I add comments on the machine and they will all appear in there. And from that point you can also print off a label, so you could select one of those, and somewhere in here you can, or maybe I right click on it, you can print certificate. There we go. So you can select print certificate, and that will send it off to your printer. Hopefully you can see that. So we've got a Seaward logo on the top. The test certificate has all the results on there, and you just print that off, and that's it. So if somebody does require a printout of the results, you have got it all there ready to go. Of course, if you were doing this on site, you could probably carry one of the printers that goes with this, and yes, if you're that busy, the barcode scanner would be a very good choice, but in my case I'm only doing this from the workshop, so no need for any of that, and I can just link it wirelessly to, or the laptop's linked wirelessly to the printer, so if required I can print certificates out. So yeah, well that's it really guys. I just wanted to show you this pat tester, and how reasonably priced you can get these for if you do some research. Pat testing rules and regulations were actually modified last year, I think September or maybe October. Things like the frequency of testing and things like that were changed slightly. It's all pretty confusing, and depending on who you speak to, you can get different interpretations of what you should and shouldn't do. As far as I'm concerned, if you've done anything to the main supply, whether it's cable change, new power supply fitted, stuff like that, then the equipment should be pat tested. Courses for pat testing, I actually was in the tool hire industry years ago and I was trained by them, but I also went on a course back in, I think it was 2005. I used a company called Instrotech, and they are in Imperial Way in Watford, so I did a day's course then, so I've got the certificate for that on the wall. So it's probably something that you really would want to do a day's training on before you just dive into this. There are certain situations that can be quite complicated, and you need to know which tests to apply to make sure it's all valid. But courses are only around about £150. You can do online courses, but I'd really recommend you go off to one of the the sellers of the equipment and really do a do a day's course and make sure they're actually using the piece of equipment that you will be purchasing. There's no point in being fully trained on a completely different make and model. So if you're buying a Seaward, try and do a course that has actually got one of these on site that you can practice on. Generally they'll have 3 or 4 or 5 different pat testers, from the very basic up to the higher end models like this one, and in fact higher than this. There's quite a few out there. So yeah, that's it. Just thought I'd show you that. Hope it was useful, and I'll catch you later.